Welcome to our virtual Triduum Retreat 2025. My name is Tony Pickler, Mission Outreach Director for Resurrection Parish in Green Bay. This is going to be a 3-day process of looking at the scriptures and the sacred journey over these most holy of days.
And I am Steve Meyer, co-founder of Whatsoever You Do Incorporated and Streetlights Outreach, along with Tony. And it's a pleasure to walk this Triduum Retreat journey with you. Thank you for carving out some time. We're going to be using a prayer form we've been using throughout Lent called Lectio Divina. Many of you are familiar with it, but we're going to do it in a little bit of an abridged version. We'll listen to the gospel once through, and then we'll pick a word or phrase, and we'll just process on that for a little bit.
So let's begin in prayer. Come, O Holy One, and open our eyes, our ears, and our hearts, that we may act upon your word in our relationships today. So we're going to reflect on the words from St. John's Gospel that'll be used tonight. And so we'll be looking for a word or a phrase that really strikes us, that grabs us, that really chooses us. Let's listen to the words from our Gospel from St. John.
Before the feast of Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to pass from this world to the Father. He rose from supper and took off his outer garments. He took a towel and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dry them with the towel around his waist. So when he had washed their feet and put his garments back on and reclined at table again, he said to them, "Do you realize what I have done for you? You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for indeed I am. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you should also do."
The phrase that really jumped out at us were the last phrase from that reading, "As I have done for you, so must you do." And the key word for me in that is the word do, the actuation of the gospel message, but not just the gospel message, Jesus' entire life. We have to ask ourselves the question, when he says, "As I have done for you, you should also do for one another," what is this he's asking us to do, right? And it's, we haven't made it as literal as washing feet. We don't actually go around washing each other's feet physically anymore. So we have to find other ways to do that, and to go out in the world and not just do a momentary act, but live a way of life as Jesus lived. What I have done for you, you should also do for one another. That's not just a thing, that's a way of life.
Well, I always think about this as a culmination. And it's a culmination of a process that started earlier, not in this gospel even, but in Luke's gospel, where Jesus is asked that question about who is our neighbor. And he tells that famous story about the Good Samaritan. So in a way, he's saying, you want to wash somebody's feet? Who's the who here? You know, so he's saying, yeah, you're to wash each other's feet, and it's the neighbor, the person who's probably most vulnerable, most bruised and beaten, and person who's laying in the ditch. That's who you're supposed to wash, you know, whose feet you're supposed to wash. Then you always think about, fast forward a little bit to a different gospel, Matthew's gospel, where it says, well, how do we do that? Well, when you feed the hungry and give food to the hungry, and you give drink to the thirsty, and you visit and you comfort and you welcome, then that's how you wash the feet. And then, so this act where Jesus is actually washing the feet and saying, okay, I've done this for you, now you need to do it. It's just kind of the culmination of that, where he's showed us, he's given examples of it, and now he's saying, it's your turn.
One of the things that's really fascinating about that is what he doesn't do, right? So he's giving final instructions to his disciples. He knows what's going on, what tomorrow is going to bring, and he's giving his final instructions, and this is what he's telling them to do. Now, of all the things he could have said, this is what he chose. He didn't say, go out in the world and say certain things, go out in the world and vote a certain way, go out in the world and tell everyone what a great Christian you are and put bumper stickers on the back of your car and all. He didn't say any of that, right? What he says is the most humble servant thing you can do. That's the thing he chooses.
Well, and I also think that, to your point, he doesn't say you need to have the right answers. Christianity is participative, right? I mean, it's how we treat each other. It's how we act. It's how we reach out. And so, I mean, if we might have all kinds of head knowledge about what it is to be a follower of Jesus, but unless we're actually putting that into action by participating in the walk of Jesus, we're kind of falling short. So I really think that the process that we've gone through over these last 20 years with Streetlights Outreach and Whatsoever You Do has done that. It's like put our faith, put our beliefs into action by washing feet.
Well, I hope so. I hope so, right? We hope that that's what we're doing, that we're being faithful to this gospel instruction, this final instruction, if you will, to just go do and actually live it out, not just read it, not just pray it, not just think it, not just talk about it, but actually put it in action out in the world, in all of your relationships with every person you encounter.
It's been so inspiring to me to see the people who have journeyed with us, right? The people who have themselves washed feet in so many ways. And then the people whose feet we kind of metaphorically wash, how they wash each other's feet. I think about the people down at St. John's Park who have kind of formed a community and they take care of each other. People on the streets take care of each other, and in a really tangible way, they're washing each other's feet. I mean, there's vulnerable people down there. I think it's the particularly the women who are out on the streets homeless. Those women are extremely vulnerable, but there's guys who kind of take care of them and look after them and make sure they're okay. I think that's a form of washing feet.
One of the first things we learned, right, in our first few weeks out on the streets, so over 20 years ago now, was the fact that the homeless individuals we were first encountering expected something different from us. They expected us to proselytize, to preach to them some sort of conversion, to do something that was like just language, not action. And they were very resistant. They wouldn't open up to us. But once they came to terms with this reality that all we wanted to do was be there and be present with them, metaphorically wash their feet simply by sitting with them and listening to them, that opened them up in new ways and changed our understanding of what our mission is and everything else. But when we wash someone's feet, that's a relational thing that doesn't just change us. It changes that person and opens us up to each other.
And I think that's the big difference, right? It's relationship that's developed between two people who, in a sense, have this mutual blessing that's happening between them, right? This mutual relationship that as I think I'm washing somebody's feet, guess what? They're washing mine too. And it's this mutual relationship of I would say co-equals.
So are we aware of that, right? When we go out into the world every single day and we do little things for people, right? We help with their groceries, open doors, or just cheer someone up who's down, or just let them know that they have a shoulder to cry on, or just being present to give people support. Are we aware that that's a discipleship work? Are we aware that that is an act of washing feet?
And it's hard, right? I mean, sometimes we see a person who we're afraid of them, we're not sure of them, they're different than us, And it's like, can I wash their feet? And can I allow them to be in a relationship with me and me to be in a relationship with them? What we found over the years is, I mean, there's a vulnerability in that, like in terms of opening yourself up to relationship and this foot washing process both ways.
There is, and you're right. Washing someone's feet, right, is like ultimate act of humility, and there is a lot of vulnerability in that, and there's that fear of, oh my gosh, what if I'm judged? What if I am rejected when I am being as vulnerable as I can be with somebody? And that is fearful. So being a foot washer takes courage.
Yeah.
It just does. And fortunately, once you start doing it, the Spirit gives you that courage.
And we found that out early on, right? Back in 2004, when we first went down the streets of Green Bay. This was not in our wheelhouse. It's not something we felt like we were born to do. But we quickly realized that people are people, and relationships are relationships. And there's less us versus them than we ever imagined.
Right.
And so there's a commonality in humanity that I think we discovered. If we hadn't known it before, we certainly found out quickly that it's there.
So that's the charge as we go forward, as we walk into the Triduum and think about how we're going to be living our lives as a result of this Paschal mystery. How can we be foot washers, not just in big grand ways, serving homeless down on the street, but in little incidental ways as we go about our days and our hours and our weeks and just live life? Are we living life as foot washers?
And we would invite you to reflect on this gospel yourself and see and really be thinking about what word, what phrase really chooses you and grabs you, and how are you called to wash feet in your life through your experiences. So we also invite you to come on back for a Good Friday as we break open the readings for tomorrow. So thanks for being with us today. We wish you a great Holy Thursday.
And peace be with you.